These are 3 barbecue sides that are sure to please any crowd. Macaroni and cheese is a super popular side at any barbecue, but I make it with a twist, and it's really easy to make. Start off by grating 6 ounces of cheese, in this case, half cheddar and half Monterey Jack. To make the cheese sauce, add 2 tablespoons of butter in a pan over medium heat, and add 2 tablespoons of flour. Stir it constantly until it starts to bubble. This gets rid of the raw flour taste and will help thicken the cheese sauce. Then add a cup of milk, a little at a time. The roux is going to thicken the milk pretty quickly, and adding it all at once is going to make it harder to make a smooth sauce. Once you've added a bit of milk and stirred it and repeated a few times, you should be good to add the rest of the milk. That's when I add a teaspoon of garlic salt and a teaspoon of fresh cracked pepper to give this just a little bit more bite. Once the sauce starts to boil, you can take it off the heat and mix in the cheese using the same add some, stir some method that you did with the milk before. Just make sure that you save a little bit of the cheese to add on top at the end. Here's where things get a little different. I'm going to add 1 pound of gnocchi, which is potato pasta instead of cooked macaroni. Cheese and potatoes go together like campfires and marshmallows, and your guests will love it. Mix it all together and put it in an oven-safe dish. Top it with the remaining cheese and crushed up Ritz crackers, or my favorite, Cheez-Its. Bake it at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 minutes. This rich treat goes really well with my favorite barbecue dessert, banana pudding. I got hooked on this stuff at my first barbecue joint, and my life hasn't been the same since. So you start off with a cup of milk and a cup of heavy cream. Then add a half a cup of sugar, 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, and a pinch of salt. Mix the dry ingredients together and add 2 whole eggs. Whip it for a minute or 2 and the color will lighten just a little bit before adding the milk and cream. Take the pudding mixture over to the stove and heat it over medium heat, stirring constantly until it starts to bubble and thicken. Then take it off the stove and add a tablespoon of butter and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Mix until combined and transfer to a shallow dish so it cools faster, and then cover it with plastic wrap before putting it in the fridge. After a few hours, or preferably overnight, I like to add whipped cream, which takes a cup of cream, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar. Put it all in a container and whip it until it thickens into stiff peaks. Pudding needs to be mixed up a little bit after sitting overnight, and then we can put it all together. Nilla wafers are an absolute requirement for this recipe to be really authentic. And to build it, alternate between pudding, Nilla wafers, whipped cream, and fresh bananas until you run out, and then enjoy responsibly. As a bonus side, coleslaw is great. Chop up the red and purple cabbage and add some grated carrot. The vinegar sauce is 1/3 cup of apple cider vinegar, a tablespoon of honey, and add salt and pepper to taste. Mix it all together and serve. The vinegar helps cut through the fatty meat at your barbecue, and it's good to get a little greens. And speaking of colon cleansing, these beans are for people who think that they don't like baked beans. Like most good recipes, it starts with a half a pound of bacon, cut into strips and fried until crispy. While these are going, chop up 1 sweet onion. Once the bacon is done, put it on a paper towel and pour off all but 2 tablespoons of grease, then save the rest for frying eggs for breakfast tomorrow. Saute the sweet onions until they start to caramelize, which is a little secret to really amp up the flavor. For the sauce, start off with 1 cup of your favorite barbecue sauce, a half a cup of dark brown sugar, and a half a cup of spicy ground mustard. Then add a teaspoon of garlic powder. I like to use canned beans because it's way easier, and using different kinds of beans gives you a variety of flavors and textures. Kidney, black, and pinto beans are all great choices. And there is one ingredient that you have to leave out though, and that is aquafaba. And that's vegan for bean water. Because we know that we're cooking with meat and you don't want that in your food. So make sure that you drain your beans before adding all 3 cans. Add in your sauce mixture, the crispy bacon, and then add a pound of leftover smoked meat to really send it home. I'm using ribs, but pulled pork and brisket are going to work really well too. So mix it all together and put it in a 350-degree oven for an hour. Give it one last mix and serve.